My name's Paul, welcome to Paul Perambulates. In this episode, I'm in North Wales, in northern Eryri, walking around the southern Carneddau. My start point is the parking alongside the A5 in the Ogwen Valley, near the Bwlch campsite. Postcode LL24OEU, grid reference SH67216050. What 3 words? Costumed shoulders cabbage. I climbed the north side of the Ogwen Valley via Ramir and Ole Wen onto the main Carneddau ridge. I visit the 3rd or 4th highest peak in Wales, depending on which list you believe, Carnedd Dafydd. Then I go via Llewelyn to, again list dependent, the 2nd or 3rd highest peak in Wales, Carnedd Llewelyn. I return southwards via Bwlch Eryl Farchog and the Eryri reservoir to the Ogwen Valley. Total distance 14.4 kilometres, total height gain 952 metres, total walking time 5 hours and 10 minutes. Coming away from the A5 onto the path, pretty much the first thing you see is a lovely end-on view of Llyn Ogwen with Eryri in the background. Path up started as huge rocks, flat topped, laid into the ground, nice and easy. Turned into smaller rocks and stones now, and I imagine it will get rougher as it goes. Climbing alongside a rushing stream now. If there was ever anything that would take your mind off a tough climb, it's that sound. A bit further up, big flat rocks again. Bit of a bonus, wasn't expecting that. Where it starts to get steep and we're into a scramble. You can see a couple of the guys up ahead using their hands to get up there. Even this far up into the scramble, we've got smaller stones laid into the rocks to show you where the path is. I've just come up that gully there. Technical, yeah, not too bad though. The views are certainly getting better all the time. Just checking out this little ledge here that I'm going past. I've seen people pitch tents on ledges like this. You imagine they're pretty confident that they don't sleepwalk. Out at the top of the scramble now, and back on path again. Okay, yes, very steep path, but well marked with lots of rocks and stones, and walking pretty much, only very occasional hands on rock. It would be fair to warn you that there is a bit of exposure on the higher part of this path. It goes right along the edge of some fairly massive drops. Ole Wen, 978 metres. Now we can see across the Ogwen Valley, Trevan the Eryri. Further away, the ever-present Eryri, formerly known as Snowdon, and before that known as Eryri. To the west, the Menai Strait separates mainland Wales from the island of Anglesey. And round to the north, our next destination, Carneddau, and our first sight of Carnedd Llewelyn. From the Carneddau Ridge, it's a long way down into Cwmclwr. Coming down off Ole Wen, I'm on the ridge now. I've broken the back of the height game, and it's an awful lot less steep from here on in. This is Carneddau, small cairn, which is one of the biggest stone-built cairns I've ever seen. The other Carneddau against which it's being compared, though, are the mountains themselves, so I guess it's all relative. Top of Carneddau, 1,044 metres. We've added Ole Wen to the foreground now, and because we're higher up, we can see more mountains further away. Pretty impressive, even though the conditions are quite murky now. Imagine what we'd be able to see on a clear day. There's been some pretty impressive shelter design and build on top of Carneddau. There's certainly no shortage of building materials up here. And there's a shelter pointing away from any direction in which the wind might blow. I think this one will do me for lunch today. Carneddau, of course, means cairns, and here's another one on the way down from Carneddau. These cliffs are called Ysgolion, the Black Ladders. Ladders, of course, are for climbing, and that's exactly what people do. On my way round now from Carneddau to Carnedd Llewelyn. Long old way. Bit rocky, but well marked path, still not that difficult to follow, so navigation shouldn't be in any way difficult. Looking up now at Carnedd Llewelyn, and then along the ridge I'll use for my descent later, Bwlch Eryl Farchog. Then I'll drop down next to the Ffynnon Llwgwi reservoir. Carnedd Llewelyn, 1064 metres. Second or third highest mountain in Wales, depending on which list you read. Higher than anything in England. Now we've got Carneddau in the foreground. In order behind it, Ole Wen, Eryri and Eryri. And then coming round the Carneddau Ridge that I've just walked along. Zooming out from Carneddau, we now have an excellent view of the Ysgolion from the other end. Coming up to the other end of Carnedd Llewelyn's summit plain now, and again it's one of those moments where suddenly you get over the top of something and you can see for miles and miles and miles. Unfortunately it's a little bit hazy today, so this view is not quite as spectacular as it would be on a really clear day, but all the same there's a lot of stuff to see down there. To the north, Bwlch and Carnedd Gwen. Coming round to the west, in the background, Anglesey and the Irish Sea. In the foreground, Eryri. At the northeastern end of the summit plateau, facing away from the prevailing winds, is this shelter. Easily big enough for at least one tent, a perfect wild camping spot, and noted down for future reference. The local geology is interesting. Jagged, prehistoric looking rock formations, similar to those found on the top of the Eryri. The flora is a bit different too. Underfoot, on the way back up to the main summit, I notice instead of the usual moorgrass, this spongy, moss-like growth. Just off the summit is this shelter, more conventionally designed than the ones on Carneddau Dafydd and equally well built. Perfect spot for a coffee. Cheers. Looking at my route down now, windy gravel path, pretty steep, but nowhere near as hard as it was to climb up here. I appear to have arrived at Miscreant's Corner, where the black sheep hang out. Coming down Bwlch Eryl Farchog now. There's a little bit of hands-on here, a bit of scrambling, it's hard to keep the path. This is a good example. That's where the path goes, but no one's walking down there, that's a climb. And this is looking back up, that last bit. So as you can see, care needs to be taken, but it's not insurmountable. Looking down probably the worst part of the Bwlch now. It's extremely steep, so I'm going to have to lower myself gently, but it is all possible. Now I've just descended this now, mostly on my backside, but got down it completely safely. The rest of this path down Bwlch Eryl Farchog, you might say, is a bit airy, although I'm okay with it. I'm probably not going to get a better view anywhere of the Finan Llwgwi reservoir here, which looks fantastic from above. And just beyond it, the Ogwen Valley. Towards the end of the day, the cloud really starts to thicken, and on the other side of the valley begins to collect around the summits of Trevan and the Eryri. It also starts to collect along the ridge walk that I've done today. It already covers Ole Wen, although Carneddau Dafydd and Carnedd Llewelyn are still clear. I'm back down in the Ogwen Valley now. Got the mighty Tryfan behind me on the other side of where I've been, and that was the Carneddau, or at least part of the Carneddau. There are actually 7 mountains that count as part of the whole range. I only managed to get to the top of 3 of them today, but I'm pretty pleased with that as a day's work. There's an awful lot of height gain involved there. The distance may not have been that much, but believe me, it was pretty difficult. There is some scrambling involved in that route, up and down. So if you're not comfortable doing that, you might want to think about whether you want to take the route on. But if you're happy doing that, you will be treated to some incredible views. The weather wasn't the best today. It was a little bit hazy, so couldn't get exactly the best views that we might have got on another day. However, they were still pretty good, as I think you'll agree. So why not give it a shot? All maps and 3D fly-throughs provided by kind permission of Ordnance Survey through their excellent OS Online application. Big thanks also for all music used in this video to mixkit.co, pixabay.com and the YouTube audio library. Specific song and artist credits can be found in the comments. These videos are designed to show you around the routes I walk in case you're considering doing them yourself. They are not designed to be any kind of hill walking training or guidance. If you need hill walking skills, obtain them in person from a reputable, qualified provider. Please don't attempt these walks without appropriate levels of fitness and equipment. If you don't have the required levels of knowledge and experience, only undertake them accompanied by somebody who does. You can find out more about me and my background and experience at my website, paulperambulates.co.uk. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Paul Perambulates. If you did, please subscribe and share.